with reference to what you said earlier about the sound therapy, there's the theory. Everyone says that everything vibrates,
Yeah.
every cell, everything, even
Yeah.
though you can't see it vibrating, it vibrates.
Yeah.
So thus, if you're using sound to help a problematic area, that totally makes sense, because it's vibrating to help the issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
This is the way opera. I come across a guy called, what's his name? He produced, I can't remember his name now, he's not with us anymore, and there's a great video on YouTube of him. He produced this sound thing from a desk lamp that boiled water immediately. So you made your cup of water, he poured cold water into a cup, put this thing in, and it just went, just started boiling within a second or two. And then he took it out and he put his milk in, and then he drank it. He developed it from a desk lamp, so it looks a little bit rubbish, but it's fascinating. And I think he was a saxophone player, and he noticed that when he was in certain clubs, smaller clubs, he'd blow certain frequencies, and he'd get the glasses on the shelves vibrate. So the staff would have to put their hand up to stop the glass from coming off the shelf, because it would hit what's called the resonant frequency of that shelf, or that glass. Opera singers have notoriously been able to hit a pure note sometimes that shatter glasses. There's loads of videos on YouTube about, there was the guy that got a really powerful, it's really weird to watch, a really powerful radio and a sound system in the car. I mean, it was a ridiculously powerful thing. He'd opened the boot and it was full of speakers, great big speakers. And anyway, so he's done it, put it all together, closed the windows, done the windows up, and he's at one of these little car rallies where they show their car off, and he's turned the stereo on really loud, and the bass frequencies, you look at a window, the driver's window I think it was, and it was going like that, the glass, without shattering. And I'm looking at this, I was gobsmacked that sound can actually almost reduce the hardness of an item. And then part of me thought, I wonder if this is how they built the pyramids in Egypt, because when you look around the world, Göbekli Tepe is one of these places. I haven't done a lot of research on that, although Graham Hancock looks into that. They build a wall and it's like a jigsaw. It's so intricate, and you can't get a cigarette paper between the stones. They are that perfectly in line with each other. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if that's how they've done that.
So in theory, if everything vibrates, if you wanted to go into another dimension, if you discovered what frequency this dimension was and you built a device to do it, in theory, you could go to another dimension by changing your frequency to the other dimension.
Yes, I would be
Stargate in a sense.
I would be very surprised if you look to another guy called Russell Targ. He's done work for certain American government agencies, and he teaches people how to remote view. And this is it's a very fascinating man. He done a TEDx talk on it. And he's I'm not even sure if he's still with us anymore. A fascinating guy. Go and have Russell Targ, Targ. And he put a video on, it's on YouTube, called Third Eye Spies. And he would teach people, and this one particular person went to Russia. In his mind, he was still sitting in the room next to him. In his mind, he's gone to Russia, to a certain building, and looked into what was inside a sealed vault, and then come back and then wrote it down. And he was right. He was spot on. And yeah, Uri Geller's into all this as well. But that's the frequency that you're talking about. That's the very similar thing.
So I remote heal, not too often because it takes a lot out of me, but I'm not going to say the person involved, but basically recently it was someone on the other side of the world, and I instantly connected with them within seconds
Yeah.
from where I am in Wales, and I could see them, and they felt me as well, that I was there. And I think to myself, well, how does this happen? Is it like through frequency? Am I like shifting my perception somewhere? How do I do it? But I can do it, and I've done it before. I've gone all around the world, and I've sensed other people's souls, spirits, and stuff like that. I've healed that way, and I often think to myself, okay, I know I can do this. How can I do this? What makes it work? I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or any insight to that. I don't know, but
I had a really, really strange. I've been told in this room where I am at the moment, this is where I'm closest to spirit.
right.
I was told that without letting the medium know what had just happened to me. I was sitting exactly where I am at the moment, and I was texting a particular person, and I've got all in front of me. I've got like any place you work, there's all bits and pieces all over the place, and I narrow this field of view down so you can't see it. That's what the green screen's behind, because it's an absolute tip. So I'm sitting here. I'll be real, that's the way we all work. I've got a very, very messy office, but a clear mind as such. So I'm texting this person and telling them something about what somebody else said, and it was to do with the situation I found myself in. And then all of a sudden, a stapler fell off in front of me without being touched. It fell off of a piece of kit that I've got sitting in front of me and hit the desk. But it didn't just fall off, it went bang! Just as I was about to press send. So I stopped. And I've put the stapler back up again. And then, because it made such an almighty crash, it was terrifying. Picked the stapler up, put it back on the piece of kit, and I pushed it off again, and it went blop. So I went, no, how can it make that sound? So I put it back on again, pushed it off, and it went bang. There was no big crash and wallop like there was before. So I cleared the text, didn't send it. I then went on to Facebook, and I've got another a friend of mine who's quite a good medium called John. I said, John, I've just had something go on in my studio, and I'm sending emails as well to a media lawyer, and he's calling me the wrong name, and I haven't corrected him yet because I think it's got something to do with what's going on. He went, hang on a minute, let me have a think, and he's gone, okay, right, who's the person with the limp? So I said, that's the guy's name that the media lawyer keeps calling me. I knew somebody that had passed. He went, okay, all right. Who's the ex-policeman? So I said, that's this guy. He said, all right, he's got a problem with his knee or his ankle. He's got quite a bad limp. So I said, yeah. And he went, what has he got to do with guns? I said, he was in the police force for years. The chances are, this is back in the 70s, chances are he's handled guns in his time. Okay, he's with you in the room now, Mike. Don't send that text. So I just stopped what I was doing, and I carried on, and 2 or 3 weeks later on, I found out that the person I was texting was going back to the other person I was talking about and telling them everything I'd said.
Oh, wow.
So, I was really pleased that he came here to stop me from doing that. So that goes with exactly what you've just said, where you can be on the other side of the world and they can feel your presence. And I think it's all to do with us not actually being here as such. This is this reality is false. It's not where we are. We're in a global consciousness, and we're all connected.
I said to someone the other day, they saying about the future and past and stuff like that, and I said, look, I said, just picture this. He said, your higher self is up in the heavens, wherever you believe, and he's sending out like tentacles, and one of the tentacles this life, another tentacles in another life, another tentacles in another life, maybe another tentacle, maybe another universe. That is all parts of yourself, and they are connected to your higher self, and you're connected to them, and you send them information, they send information to you, and that's how it works, and that's how you can be in several places at once, because you are in several places at once, all at the same time. I'm not sure about the future. Not quite sure how the future works. Definitely in the past, anyway. I'm not quite sure how how it works in the future and how, I don't know about that so much, but definitely in the past for sure. I think it's the future as well, but not 100%.
Quantum physics are just coming to the conclusion, and don't ask me to explain this, I don't understand it myself, that the past, the present, and the future are all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, when you research ancient civilizations, they never used to live in the past or the future. They used to live in the present, and that was that. They said this is all there is. And with all, everybody now has been steered down this particular path of, we're all anxious or we're all worried, and anxiousness is something that you're thinking in the future that may never happen. Worried is something that's happened in the past that may not be what you think it is at all, because we perceive things differently. And I'm the world's worst at this. When my mind is when I'm trying to sleep and my mind is active, I start worrying about stupid things that happened 35 years ago. I said this to him, and he must think I'm a really bad person because of this. I bet he hates me. And I guarantee if I was to speak to that person, he wouldn't have a clue what the hell I'm talking about. So I'm creating this myself, because the mind is a problem-solving machine. It just produces nonsense, really, sometimes.
I went through. I was thinking about something like that one day, and I messaged, because I think I've got quite a good connection with the other side. Message came through to me. It doesn't matter. Strong message. It doesn't matter. And basically it showed me in the next instant all these little things, these worries, anxiety, they mean nothing.
Yeah.
They're not helpful. Leave them. Just forget about them.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, that makes so much bloody sense. And to be honest, I've been a much better person from that day. I don't worry so much. I don't. Sometimes, when you're overtired, yes, you drift off and you think about this. Everyone does. We're all human.
Yeah.
But generally, I don't. I'm much better, and all because of that one incident. People shown they don't matter. Nothing matters. Basically, as I said, nothing matters. Obviously, it does, but that's really I was told. So I just remember that now.
We've all been pushed down this route to try and control everything that goes on about it. There is no control. Any psychologist will tell you that. Control is nonsense. It's 86% of what you worry about and you're trying to control never happens.
Yeah.
86%. That's ridiculous. Why are we spending our life concentrating on the 86%? But it's so difficult, John, just to relinquish control to the universe or Mother Nature. I find myself worrying about it, and I understand about relinquishing control, and I still worry. So it's so difficult. I
look at it as like your connection to your higher self is like an unhindered connection would be like Niagara Falls. It would just be shooting straight down. But then you've got rocks again, the way you will divert the water. Here you'll have, which I use the symbolism as like worries. You've got trauma, which will send the water there. You've got anxiety, will send the water there. Before you know it, the water becomes like a little trickle.
Yeah.